Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your Hell in a Cell 2014 preview and predictions.
What's up, guys? Really looking forward to dissecting this card with my cohort and commentary here. I am super pumped for Hell in a Cell 2014 live reactions, and I am just really looking forward to the double main event and some of the undercard that this show's got going on. Ashton, what are you thinking about the Hell in a Cell 2014 card?
I am looking so forward to this show. There are an insane amount of matches that I cannot wait to see.
Absolutely. So with that said, unless you want to preface it with anything else, we can get right into our first match because I am so ready to have this out with you.
Well, before we get into our first match, we have a pre-show.
Yes, we do.
Damien Mizdow is going to be hosting a special Mizdow TV segment with special guest The Miz.
Now, I want to ask you something right out of the gate, Ashton, because I want this to be a very conversational dissection here. Do you think this could be a platform to openly acknowledge how over Damien Mizdow has become, and maybe the jealousy is finally going to start to seep through beginning tonight with this pre-show segment?
Yes, 100%. I honestly wouldn't even be surprised if this was the first time that we saw Miz legitimately attack Mizdow.
That could happen. What I could see happening is that it boils over, and maybe it even comes to the point where Damien Mizdow says, well, I'm not going to be at ringside for your championship match later tonight, and maybe that would segue into it being the opener, but that'll be, I guess, a different discussion for a different time. But yeah, I could just see Damien Mizdow just leaving Miz in no man's land, having to just fight Sheamus one-on-one, and maybe even making the excuse, well, it's only because I've been at ringside for you the past two times that you've gotten the upper hand on Sheamus. And yeah, I could really see him having it out on this segment.
Absolutely. Not really a whole heck of a lot of analysis to do here. It's a segment that we are all going to be, well, maybe I shouldn't say all, but at least John and I are definitely going to be watching because as cringeworthy as most pre-shows are, it is Damien Mizdow, and we're going to take as much of him as we can get.
I'm just so happy that this gimmick has gotten this over and that people have been this receptive to it. It actually makes me really intrigued what they're going to do with it. So this is actually one of the first pre-shows in a while that I could say I have a genuine vested interest in. So,
absolutely. Okay, so let's get to... Oh, and by the way, the pre-show panel is set to feature Alex Riley, Booker T, and Paul Heyman.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to hear what Paul has to say, especially in regards to, one of the main events, John Cena, Randy Orton for number one contendership, but we'll get to that match much later. So,
right.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into the actual card, and we, as always, we try and go in order from least relevant to most relevant. I think the least relevant match on this card is the Bella Twins going against each other, where the loser has to be the winner's assistant for 30 days.
To me, Ashton, I know I said I was really looking forward to having it out with you and dissecting this, but much like the pre-show for you, I can't give this match much analysis. I think everybody knows how I feel about this feud at this point. Yeah, Nikki wins. This is a match totally designed, totally tailored for the heel to get momentum. I think the biggest disappointment, and I'm not trying to be, that guy coming down hard on the Bellas, but I think the biggest disappointment is this feud's going to go on for another 30 days. We're probably going to have, if I were to guess, Team Nikki versus Team Brie at Survivor Series. And
which, let's see if we can pick out the members of those teams right now. Brie is going to be teamed up with Naomi. Unfortunately, because they see her as a babyface, Natalya. Possibly... Do you think that they'll kind of suck up the Divas Championship too and have AJ involved?
Potentially.
And then I'm guessing Rosa.
Yeah.
And then Team Nikki will be Cameron, Eva Marie, Summer Rae, and probably Paige, if I had to guess.
Yeah. So, it's just a shame that it has to drag on even further. But yeah, Ashton said it best. Nikki wins. This is a match tailored for the heel. Nothing more I can say than that.
Absolutely. Up next, let's talk about, hey, we already kind of mentioned it a little bit. Let's talk about the United States Championship match, Sheamus versus The Miz.
You know what? I'm looking forward to this match. I've liked the matches that Miz and Sheamus have had, mainly because it's partially character-driven. Sheamus wanting to hit Miz with that bro kick, but because of Miz's character protecting the moneymaker, always finds a way to evade it. If our predictions pan out that there's going to be some kind of implosion between the stunt double and the quote-unquote real actor, we know that Mizdow won't be having Miz's back, and I could actually see this with a successful defense for Sheamus,
Right.
hitting the bro kick on Miz. And really for me, because you know what we usually do on preview predictions is we also kind of look forward into the future, I'm still calling that feud with Rusev over the U.S. title, so I say Sheamus retains, and he finally moves on to Rusev.
Yeah. I think that the only reason that I have us talking about this match so early is because, again, there's not really a lot to talk about, and we both agree that Sheamus is going to retain.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, again, not a lot to say here. Let's just go ahead and move on. Looking at the rest of the matches, I honestly think that the next least relevant match is the Tag Team Championship match, Gold Star versus the Usos. I'm really struggling to not pick the Usos here.
Right.
Because LOL Usos win, and it's like, okay, Gold Star, you guys had your shots with the title, and you haven't really been doing anything. Now give the belts back to us where they belong. But just gut instinct, I'm gonna say Gold Star wins.
See, Ashton, and this is actually one of the first matches on this card that I've really struggled with a prediction because I totally get where you're coming from.
And just to really emphasize this to people, we aren't struggling to make these predictions because it's been built up so well that these teams are both so even, like what you would expect on NXT. It's because the WWE doesn't give a crap about either one of these teams, so I don't think that they would really have a problem flipping back the titles to the Usos.
Yeah, and see, it's weird for me because I know the big thing for so many people when it came to Goldust and Cody Rhodes, now Stardust, is we were all expecting at some point or another the Cody Rhodes Goldust feud. Like, when is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? And then
I think that's probably why my gut instinct is saying they retain, because I think they're going to hold the titles until it gets to a point where they can drop them and then send them right into a feud to set up for a WrestleMania match.
And see, that makes logical sense to me. However, at the same time, like, and you remember what I said, I think it was around our Night of Champions preview predictions, is that if Gold Star were able to beat the Usos, which we didn't predict that night, and we ended up with egg on our faces, I still said that I didn't think they were going to be meant to hold the tag titles long.
Right.
I didn't expect them to have a long reign. Now, they got away by the skin of their teeth on an episode of SmackDown by retaining by DQ, champion's advantage. And, it's like, oh, well, the Usos just seem to be so hot. They have their number. They're primed for that second reign. So, you know what? Just because LOL Usos win, I'm going to say that the Usos regain the tag titles here. I don't think Gold Star were meant to be long reigning champions. I think the Usos get the gold back here.
Right, and what I'm about to say has nothing to do with the fact that it would make me right and you wrong. It's got everything to do with the fact that I just can't stand the Usos. I hope that you get egg on your face again. And I think you do too.
Yeah, I do. No, I absolutely do, because I'm surprised how many people seem to dislike Gold Star, because I'm not necessarily hot about these guys.
Well, yeah, I was just going to say, I don't dislike them, but they are so far away from being over enough to be champions that it's not even funny. Like, whatever happened to the idea that the people who the crowd reacts to most getting your titles?
Exactly. And I mean, I still have some hope in this team, because when they faced the Usos and Cena and Ambrose in that triple threat tag match 2 Raws ago, people were chanting for Stardust. I keep wanting to say Gold Star. Keep chanting for Stardust. So Cody Rhodes with this gimmick, because he puts his back into it, is still.
Just how to remember that it's Stardust and not Gold Star?
How's that?
Because Stardust's stars aren't gold; they're black.
There you go. But
the rest of him is gold, but his stars are black.
But Cody Rhodes is still over, and I know I've heard people say, well, we want Cody Rhodes to get back on the fast track. Let me just be honest here, and this is coming from a big Cody Rhodes fan, and I'm big on Cody Rhodes, Ashton. Doing what, though? Like, if Cody Rhodes was to break off, what would he do? I feel like Cody Rhodes is one of those talents where if he was to break off from this and get rid of the face paint and get rid of the mannerisms that people seem to be gravitating towards, he would get lost in the shuffle. He would be that guy that maybe every couple months would get a match with Ziggler or Sheamus and come up short.
Yeah, but that's who he was before the tag team as well. So what would change?
And see, that's the thing. Like, I think Cody Rhodes has got all the ability, all the tools, but he's just in a period where so many other guys are ahead of him right now.
Right, and to me, I think the ideal kind of situation for Gold Star would be for them to drop the titles at TLC.
Yeah.
So that sets up for a Royal Rumble spot where one of them eliminates the other. And then they can kind of dissolve from that point.
I could see that. I could totally see that, and I actually like that booking. But still, just because I don't know, it's just a gut feeling I have. I'm gonna stick with the Usos.
Hey,
So
that's
Usos.
perfectly understandable. I'm horrified by them too.
I know. Yeah. Exactly.
So, I pick Gold Star. You pick the Usos. Our first disagreement of the night, and now we get into the last remaining match that doesn't involve a championship. And I mean, I said that those other matches were less relevant than this, but that's only because of the crowd reaction. To me, this is the least relevant match on the card. And I think, John, you might even agree with me. The Big Show versus Rusev.
See, it's funny because we haven't cared for the stories that these types of matches revolve
Dude,
around.
I'm going to be cheering my ass off for Rusev.
Oh, you and me both. Rusev has consistently impressed me as a big man performer with the stuff that he can pull out of the bag, his selling ability, and this and that. Here is the one big statement I'm going to make about this match. And I told it to you a few weeks ago when we were watching Raw together. Rusev to me, because I'll give the storyline this much credit. I've liked how Big Show, and specifically Mark Henry, have put Rusev over on the mic, because even Mark Henry has said, either in backstage exclusives or I even remember him saying in a SmackDown segment, Big Show, you need to be careful. Rusev isn't like anybody we've ever faced before. This guy, he's different. This guy's going to really be something. And Mark Henry, if I didn't know any better, he described Rusev like you would describe Brock Lesnar, just like this really like animalistic kind of guy. So because of that, I want him to be worthy of that praise. Dude, I'm going to say it, and I know it's hyperbolic, and I know everybody's going to jump all over me, and you have every right to. He needs to kick out of the knockout punch, or at
Yeah.
least get his foot on the rope.
I think foot on the rope is the right way to go. I don't think kicking out is, that might be a little bit too emphatic.
Right. He just needs to do something to survive that maneuver because, yeah, he could roll out of the ring too, but I just think even knowing that he has the ring awareness to kick out on a technicality makes him so impressive.
Yeah.
Because it's like, wow, this move that's put away so many, that's won world championships, and Rusev survives. We need to give him that moment where he goes from being just your run-of-the-mill monster, which I'd say he's slightly above, to, oh my god, this guy's legit, what is it going to take? Because if they do that, they could even maybe fool me partially that he'd have a chance against Cena at WrestleMania 31, which is
No,
where
they
I think
won't.
the end game is for him. But
I don't
that's
think they
just
would
me.
fool anyone.
It really depends, Ashton, on how aggressively they're going to book him, and I think this would be a good start by having him survive the knockout punch in this way. Just really make him seem like, yeah, even Big
Yeah,
Show's
John,
best.
but let's do a throwback. Who was the first person to ever kick out of a knockout punch?
It was John Cena, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or was it Sheamus?
No, it was Cena.
It was Cena, yeah. And, like, there you go. And I don't think anybody's kicked out since, which is why I would love to see it again for Rusev.
Brock Lesnar, hello.
Oh, did he kick out, or did he not even get
He didn't
knocked
even
out?
get he didn't even get pinned, dude.
Yeah. So
He
that's
got knockout punched and then he just kind of wobbled a little bit. He didn't even go down from the knockout punch. That's how much of a beast he was in that match.
and see, this is why, like, I do stand corrected, and thank you for reminding me of that, because if they do it for Rusev, that's an elite class to belong to.
Yeah, that is true.
I mean, John Cena and Brock Lesnar and Rusev was like, they need to do. And again, I'm not even asking for a full force kick out, though I would pop. Foot on the rope
Foot on the
suffice.
rope.
But that's all I have to say about it. Rusev wins with the accolade. Is Henry going to turn here? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say there's going to come a point where Henry runs in and does his turn. So there you go.
See, I'm conflicted here because I've gotten to the point where you and I are going in completely different directions with this feud. Because you are getting to the point where you're like, Rusev is on such a level where I could see him getting his foot on the rope from the knockout punch, and if they kind of let him do that, it'll get to a point where I could believe him beating John Cena at WrestleMania, and I'm going the exact opposite direction. To me, I'm actually on the fence on who I want to pick to win this match.
Really?
Because I am scared crapless that they are going to get Big Show over on this.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Please, no.
I'm serious. Like, obviously, if anyone logical was booking this match, Rusev would put his foot on the rope after a knockout punch. It would shock Big Show to the point that it kind of stalled the match for a couple minutes, and that would give Rusev time to recover. And then he would mount offense, mount a comeback, get the accolade, and make Big Show tap out. But This is the WWE. I could very easily see them get Rusev to put his foot on the rope from a knockout punch. And then as Rusev is struggling to get back up to his feet, Big Show hits him with another one for the win.
And the only thing that really scares me about Rusev losing this match is because of the whole Soldier debacle on the last Raw.
And that's why I think they might do it.
Yeah, it's scary.
Because it's gotten to the point now where if you just look at it, not necessarily from a who does it make more sense to try and get over standpoint, but more from just a pure storytelling standpoint, the Big Show, it's the Big Show's turn to get his revenge.
Right.
Like, it's the Big Show, it makes sense from a storytelling standpoint for the Big Show to get a comeuppance here.
Yeah. I really can't argue with your logic, bro. Like
well,
it's like
I wish you could, but because I don't want Big Show, but it's WWE and I hate WWE.
It's so weird, like our disagreements for this one, because normally like we're so entrenched in our camp, but here like we want to be wrong about the stuff we're saying for each other. It's like me earlier with the Usos. I don't want to be right about the Usos. I would hate for them to get the belt back again. And here with you, your logic is so sound with the Big Show, but we both want you to be wrong because I'm loving what they're doing with Rusev. I'm actually impressed by his mic skills, which I know you have said as well. And I like the monster they're making him, but because of that, Soldier, is it time for America to get that sentimental win? I hope not. I mean, you and I, of course, we're going to have a different disposition because of how we feel politically and this and that. I think that definitely has an influence. But at the same time, you have a great monster character here. So keeping it purely wrestling, don't sully this by giving it to the Big Show.
Yeah.
Don't do it. You keep, I've heard in the past they have frustrations because why can't we create new stars? If you do this, you'll have answered your own question because that's why.
Well, I mean, dude, look at what they did to Ryback. Look at what they did to Bray Wyatt. If they were interested in making new stars, they could have done it multiple times over by now.
Absolutely. Completely agree with you. I really can't argue anything. I'm just gonna say Rusev wins via submission. Again, I could even see Mark Henry maybe doing a run-in, being heel, whatever. And are you saying the Big Show's going to win? Is that like your lock-in? What are you going to do here?
I'm going to say Rusev wins by DQ.
All right.
I know it's anticlimactic, but I think they're going to have the Mark Henry run in. I think he's going to prevent Big Show from tapping out by attacking Rusev, just like he did on that one episode of Monday Night Raw. And I think that is going to lead to the Big Show getting pissed at Mark, and then Mark straight up just assaulting Big Show.
Yeah, you know what? The only reason I don't know about a DQ finish is because this is kind of the rubber match, and the two matches prior were DQ finishes. Because Rusev got himself disqualified using the flag, and then Mark Henry did the run-in. Yeah, so I don't know if they do it again.
Well, yeah, but Big Show won the first one by DQ, and Rusev won the second one by DQ, so this is technically a rubber match.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, They did a rubber match, and then the prior two, so I don't know, like, you'd think with the tiebreaker they'd have that like, who's really the best?
This, honestly, dude, if you want me to be completely honest, this is my way of copping out, because in my gut of guts, I feel like the Big Show's gonna win, but I just don't want to say it. I don't want to pick him.
Dude, I'm not even gonna be that guy to like come down. I understand because it scares the crap out of me now that it's crystallized before me. Like, oh my god, they brought a Soldier in the ring and he got super kicked. Like, just thinking about that, and I should have thought about it more because I was just initially so perplexed that they would do something that weird, and then your heat of the night brought a lot more into focus for me that I didn't even bother to think, oh my god, are they going to give Big Show the win? Like, you have me terrified now. So I'm not going to fault you for it. Rusev wins by accolade for me. I'm going to let you have your Rusev wins by DQ, and let's just both hope that Rusev wins, period. Oh, God.
Yeah. All right. So now that we're done talking about our least favorite match of the night, let's go to what might very well end up being our favorite match of the night, if not our most underrated match of the night. The match that everyone's overlooking for Ambrose Rollins. 2 out of 3 falls. Dolph Ziggler versus Cesaro.
And if all of you heard that awkward sound I made into the microphone, it's because I'm so excited. This is going to be so good. You know what? Here's the thing. I love Ziggler as champion. I must have said that the past 3 preview predictions now involving Ziggler in the Intercontinental title. So I have no loser here. I will say that I'm still a little bit peeved that Cesaro's in this place. But again, I think he suffers a lot from the same thing that Cody Rhodes suffers from. He's incredibly good in a certain vein, but he's in a period where so many other people are not only good, but know how to get to that main event echelon. So I can't even really fault anybody for it. I can't have sour grapes over it. He's able to wrestle, and he's able to do matches like this, which is why I'm incredibly grateful. Here's my thing. He's not winning here. There's one person I read regularly. He did predictions. I think he said it best. If Cesaro was going to be a mid-card champion, they've had multiple times these last couple months to do it. I don't think it's going to start now. I think this is going to be a match that really shows the heart and tenacity of Ziggler. It's going to go 3 falls, obviously. The first 2 may come quickly, and then the third fall is just an absolute slugfest that goes on 10, 15 minutes. But Ziggler will overcome. I'm just happy that this match is a thing because I think it's going to be a clinic, and we're just going to have a lot of fun with it. So Ziggler wins the third fall, I guess, via pin is my prediction. So, Ashton, I'm interested in your commentary on this.
I think that the WWE, like with last month's AJ Page match, I feel like the WWE has really written this one on the wall.
Right.
I feel like Cesaro has been so dominant over these last few weeks that there is absolutely no possible way that he's going to win this match.
Right.
I love Ziggler. I love the idea that they try and make it seem like Ziggler is at a disadvantage and that he's always the underdog. But to me, in this match, Cesaro is the underdog.
Yeah. I mean, here's a guy that it was just last month, wasn't it, Ashton? Or 2 months back. He took Sheamus to the limit for the United States title.
Yep.
But he didn't get the job done. And to me, like, I completely agree with everything you're saying. They want to make Ziggler like that heart of a lion kind of champion, and I love it. Right? I think it's great stuff. But let's be real here. I would like to think anyway. I'll say it like that. The WWE knows how much the people love Ziggler, and they already did the little hot potato with his feud with Miz. I think the Intercontinental Championship, at least for the moment, is here to stay over Ziggler's shoulder. It's going to be a clinic. It's going to be a great match. And hopefully this is one of those matches like we said about Team Thick in our NXT review, where the loser looks even better than the winner, because I'd love to see Cesaro in the main event. Another dream match of mine, alongside one that I'm going to geek out over a little bit later, given the implications, would be Cesaro-Lesnar. I don't think we're going to get there. I'd still like to think we will. But he's going to be a beast in this, and he's going to look great, and that's going to have to be a personal victory for this Cesaro mark. So Ziggler wins after a tremendous outing.
Exactly. I could see this match getting a half hour, and if they do, holy balls, it's going to be incredible.
Absolutely. It's funny, and rightfully so. Do not get me wrong, but everybody's saying, like, Rollins and Ambrose is going to be the match of the year contender, and I'm one of them, and I can't wait to talk about that when we get to it. But I think
it's around the corner, my friend. It's
around the corner. If Ziggler Cesaro gets the time that you're talking about, let's not scoff at the prospect of that match being in the discussion, because that's a discussion I'd like to have. So I can't wait for it.
Okay, so the only championship match left on this card is the Divas Championship. AJ Lee versus Paige. And it's fairly obvious, in my opinion, that AJ is going to retain here, but I would like to hear your opinion.
Oh, why did you have to say that? Because I'm coming in with the contrarian view again, like a douchebag. Because I'm thinking Paige is going to regain the title here. Because I've noticed a pattern of these guys just going back and forth. It really is like a shootout.
Yeah, but the back and forth has got to come to an end at some point.
It does. I completely agree with you that it does. I just don't know if that time is now. And that's where I'm conflicted. Because I don't know, dude.
I think that this is one of those cases where we really do need to look at the fact that AJ is just flat out more over than Paige. I mean, Paige is in this weird limbo where not only is she kind of halfway between main roster status and total divas status, but she's also like halfway in between being face and heel. You can't tell if she's just a troll or if she's trying to flirt with everyone. She has this new best friend, Alicia Fox, and we don't know what that relationship's about. I think the WWE wants her character to get fleshed out a heck of a lot more before they go giving any kind of title to her.
Yeah.
And if you look at the Divas Championship history, the last 5 reigns from 20 to 24 are AJ Lee Page, AJ Lee Page, AJ Lee. I really don't think they're super eager to add another Page to that list right now.
Look at you breaking down the reins. I love this, man, because it's like, oh yeah, John, you have got feelings. Well, I'm bringing facts. I'm like, I didn't know you were tag teaming with Tyson Kidd. But no, I get everything you're saying, man. And again, much like your thoughts on Uso's Gold Star, and I believe it was, Rusev Big Show just a little bit ago.
I mean, if we're being realistic here, what did Page even do to earn this championship rematch?
I think it's just the rematch clause, isn't it? Because they've done this back and forth, so I think they're really taking liberties with that idea.
Yeah. Because, like, AJ made Page tap out at the last pay-per-view, man. Like,
right? Yeah. I mean, that's not a decisive victory. I
know. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's not really a good look for Page.
And yeah, I mean, I totally agree. It's just. See, dude, it's weird things like this that could even open up a wider discussion, because if you're really using the rematch clause as a backdoor, some consistency would be nice, because you're using it in that division yet blatantly neglecting it in others. But I digress. I don't know, dude. Just because I personally believe the shootout is over, and it's not to even contend or discredit your points, because again, I think for every match that I've tried to be contrary, you brought up great points. But I'm going to say that Paige regains the championship here, and we continue this little shootout. Maybe it culminates in something at Mania. I don't freaking know. But yeah, I'm gonna say Paige regains the championship. So
all right. Well,
yeah.
I think AJ is going to retain, and not really a heck of a lot more analysis to add here.
Yeah, certainly not. So we can move on.
All right, so do we want to talk about the actual main event first, or the rightful main event?
You know what? Let's talk about the actual main event, because I just want to geek out over the rightful main event to close this thing out.
Okay. So the actual main event is very, very, very likely going to end up being John Cena versus Randy, and it probably should be, because it's the number 1 contendership match. John Cena versus Randy Orton, Hell in a Cell. Man, I want to pick Orton so bad. I really do. I want to pick him, but it's John Cena. So I'm going to pick John Cena.
John Cena wins, and that's coming.
Oh God, you are even abandoning me.
I know. You probably didn't want me to say that, dude. I know everybody was probably like,
I thought for sure you were going to pick Orton just out of pure markdom.
You know what? I hate to be that guy, because I pride myself in this team by being overly optimistic. I know it's my greatest fault, but it's something I actually pride myself on. But I'm going to be that guy. Dreams aren't meant to come true. You know, like, I want Orton.
That's not what Scott Hall said.
Well, Scott Hall's a liar. Okay?
Scott Hall said dreams come true.
I want Orton Lesnar so bad, it hurts. Okay? Like, that is a dream match. Youngest World Heavyweight Champion versus youngest WWE Champion. I mean,
you know what I want?
Parallel. What do you want?
I want Orton to punt John Cena in the skull and send him out of action for a month.
I do as well, my friend. You, me, and all the.
And then I want him to punt Brock Lesnar in the skull and only get a 2 count.
Yeah, dude, there are so many spots. I am so pathetic in my yearning for this match. I've mentally carved out spots. I need help, people, with how bad I want this match.
Oh, I want the F5 to get reversed into an RKO so bad.
Everybody wants an F5 reversed into an RKO, but don't you understand? It's not gonna happen. Because John fucking Cena has to be like, oh, well, I had Brock Lesnar. Shut up, you overgrown orangutan. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody even cares. The last time I cared about you pursuing a championship was half past never. Suck my balls. And it pisses me off, because I want to mark out with Ashton. I'm watching wrestling with my bestie. I don't want to be that curmudgeon's like, that doesn't even matter. Punt for a 2 count and just attitude adjustment for a 3 count. I just thinking like Cena wins and somebody pissed in my cornflakes. I don't want to be that guy. But I'm this close to my dream match, and like he's done every other time, Cena is going to ruin this for me. And it's a shame, Ashton, because you know what? I'm not going to make any apologies for it. I think this has been Orton's year for me personally as like a fan. He has been so on point. You and I have supported him consistently. The only time that you and I haven't supported him was when Bryan was involved. At other time, we have felt incredibly sympathetic to Orton this year. I felt like the promo he gave on this past Raw was the promo of his life. And Cena's going to come in, and because he's the man who runs the place, which, by the way, when did you become such an arrogant prick in your promos lately? And he's going to get the win, and we're probably, if the rumors are true, and that's another reason why I so defeatedly say LOL Cena wins, if the rumors pan out, we're not going to see Brock again until Royal Rumble. And guess who his title defense is going to be against? John Cena. So, you know, what the heck,
I think
man?
we're going to see Brock at Survivor Series. I really do.
If we do, if I knew that Brock was going to be scheduled for Survivor Series, you know what? I would take the gamble. And I would say Orton wins because it's in St. Louis. And, like, you could create such a great story in that small amount of time. But they're not going to. You know they're not going to. I mean, Ashton, I love debating it with you, and I love having it out with you, but neither one of us are going to delude ourselves, are we? Because we know what it is. Why lie to ourselves? We know Cena's going to win, and we know Lesnar's going to overcome him at the Royal Rumble. And even if he wouldn't, I wouldn't care either way. I've seen these guys enough for a good while. You know, I want something new. I think everybody's wanted Randy Orton versus Lesnar for quite some time, even before Lesnar made his initial return. All that time ago, people would talk about, oh, Orton Lesnar, what a great match that would have been. And we're on the cusp of it, and we're going to get screwed
And not
again.
only are we on the cusp of it, but I think they are both better now than they ever have been.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. If they were ever to do the match, dude, now is the time. Now is the freaking time. Like, do not let the ship sail on this. And that's just why I'm so disappointed. You know, I've loved what Orton's put into this. I mean, it really, by all technicality, it's only gotten 1 week of build because this is a program that I think is relying on their so many years of history. They're allowing their history to sell this match and nothing more than that, and the number one contendership, obviously. But it's not going to matter, and that's really really sad. And I hate that John Cena's reduced me to this, where whenever we talk about a John Cena matchup, I can't even be excited about alternative possibility because I feel like him winning is the only possibility.
Yeah.
I hate being that guy. I'd love to be contrarian to Ashton and give the good fight and be like, no, Ashton, Orton's going to win, and here's why. But I can lie to myself about any other matchup and be that doughy-eyed wrestling fan. I can't do it here because it hurts too much. So, LOL, Cena wins, and my dreams don't come true, so. But if I'm wrong, I'm going to remember everything I've said here and give you all the mark out of your lives because it will be amazing. So there you go.
Yeah, I was actually getting ready to say when you were done explaining your decision to sign your soul over, I was just getting ready to say that those of you listening to this, as depressed and downhearted and really just discouraged as we may sound, we are going to be strong in Randy Orton's corner, man. Like, every little thing he does is going to be like, yeah, you teach that wannabe thug how to wrestle.
Dude, even though I'll know John Cena will kick out at 2, anytime Orton nails an RKO, I'm just going to come. I'm going to pin him, pin him, pin him. Ah, oh, son of a bitch. And that's going to be it.
I love how you're even, like, you are super prepared to the point that you've got a prepared son of a bitch already for it because you just know he's going to kick out at 2.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
he might make it look good. It'll be 2 and 16/17, but it's still going to be 2.
Exactly. And you know what? This is one match where it's so funny because I'm a guy, I love simplicity in my wrestling and my storytelling and this that. I don't even care. I don't even care how Orton would get the win. If you want the Wyatt family to return and beat Cena up, if you want somebody to run in, oh my God, it's Randy Orton's brother. What's he doing? I don't care. Like, as long as Randy Orton gets the 3 count, I will take anything. I am that much of a
What's
homer.
Corporate Kane doing out here?
What's Vince McMahon doing on the Titantron? RKO 3 count. Like, I am willing to prostitute my fandom, my dignity, anything to get Orton Lesnar. That's how desperate I am, folks. So,
Wait a minute. Is that who I think it is? It's all about the slow burn, folks. Kevin Federline is here.
Oh my god! Oh my god! The gobbledygooker! What's he doing here? Oh my god! Oh my god! He just hit Cena in there with that wrench! Oh god! Orton with the cover. 1, 2. We get Orton Lesnar, and then I lose my mind, and I just have an extra helping of stuffing in honor of gobbledygooker. So, yeah.
You know how Jim Ross could make so much money?
How could he do that?
If he offered a service where he would do freelance commentary during WWE pay-per-views for live streams.
Oh my god, yes. I would be all up in that live stream.
Just get JR and Joey Styles together and let them just wreak havoc.
Yes.
Because, like, I saw there was a post in Squared Circle today. That's the Squared Circle subreddit on Reddit. About how there's a new product available that allows you to mute commentary. It says, tired of hearing inane WWE commentary? Tired of hearing about the app? Sick of Lawler being Lawler? This box eliminates sports commentary from the broadcast. And it's a WeMakeIt.com link, and it's a project called No Commentator. And it's like a crowdsourcing or a crowdfunding kind of thing where they're raising money to make this thing so that you can buy it and then you can use it to mute certain channels on your volume, and you can mute the commentary channel and just watch wrestling without commentary, I guess. But to me, like, it's awkward because I don't like wrestling without commentary. If I did, I would go to more live shows. I like the commentary. I just wish it was better.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. There are times that I'll try watching the product with, like, whatever stream I'm using, like, muted, but I can't. Like, the silence is just uncomfortable for me. I think commentary does add that extra element. I like the noise, plus hearing the impact of the maneuvers and everything else. That also kind of detracts a little bit. But yeah, it's like I wish the commentary was better too, because I totally get where you're coming from. And just to bring it back, I could see commentary just being like, oh, Cena's the greatest of all time, and just making me just want to just face palm until I open a wound.
Dude, you're not even describing an out-of-body experience right now. You're describing a typical Monday Night Raw.
Yeah,
they say
much.
That on every episode. They say Cena's the greatest of all time. They say that John Cena is this amazing superhero of a god, and just like they suck his balls every single Monday.
Ha ha, loathe it, model.
I don't think JBL loathes it, considering he's supposed to be the heel commentator and he still cheers for Cena.
And they had a feud. You know, if anybody's supposed to hate John Cena, it's JBL, given their extensive history. What the heck, John?
Yeah, Cena actually made me stop watching for almost 2 years when he beat JBL in like 11 minutes after JBL held the title for like 10 months.
Such a great heel champion, and that reign was sullied by Doctor of Thugonomics. BS. Yeah, you know, I'm going to be cheering the crap out.
I prefer the Doctor of Hugonomics.
Yeah, Bailey for life. But yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen listening to this, if you didn't get that reference, you seriously need to watch some NXT.
Yes! Yeah, you know what? Anytime I'm done caring about Cena, I'm just going to use the time instead to promote NXT. I'm going to be that guy. So, yeah, watch NXT. What the hell are you doing watching Cena matches for? Jesus.
I'll tell you why they were watching the Cena match, John. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready for this.
Because they had to watch it because it was on the same show as Seth Rollins versus...
Oh my god, he did it again! Oh my god, your batting average is ridiculous. Oh, yes. Yes, it is. The rightful main event, Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose. Dude, Dean Ambrose is your boy, and I really think like seeing him in this spot, like this big spot, has got to feel great for you. So I want you to go first. How do you feel about this match? How much are you looking forward to this?
I am scared about this match, actually.
Oh, well, that wasn't the start I was expecting.
Because in a world where this should be the perfect match for Ambrose to get his comeuppance, where he just thrashes Rollins from one side of the cage to another, where he does unthinkable things to Rollins that people will never be able to forget. Not necessarily the same thing, but definitely in the same vein as when Undertaker threw Mick Foley off the cell. I'm just scared that it is not going to get as extreme / violent as it should given the circumstances, and B, that Rollins is somehow going to squeak out the win.
You know what, dude? I'm so glad I gave the ball to you first because I have the same concern as far as your second point goes. There is just a part of me that even though it makes perfect sense to have Ambrose get his comeuppance here and get that pay-per-view moment, Seth Rollins is going to snuff it out somehow and get
Well,
the
yeah, I
victory
mean,
yet
all the
again.
this is the WWE saying, guys, this is our biggest money making feud right now. Lesnar, and if this is true, Lesnar isn't coming back until Rumble. We need to figure out how to make it last longer. And the only real logical way to do that is for Rollins to get one up on Ambrose, so that Ambrose has to keep chasing him.
Yeah, and yet, see, the problem with that, Ashton, and I love both guys, so I hate to be that guy, but chase him to where after that? You've chased him inside the cell now. This should be
This
the
is
ideal
supposed.
situation.
This is the ideal climax to this feud.
Yeah, absolutely. Without question. I mean, this should be the scenario that Ambrose at least fantasized about, and now that it's actually actualizing itself and becoming reality, Ambrose has got to be licking his chops like the Wile E. Coyote
Which is
with the
what
friggin'
makes me
bird.
so concerned because, again, I feel like they're both going to have to hold back a little bit during this match. Because,
Right.
I mean, I think that another really big concern is because of the fact that this match will most likely not be going on last. It makes me think, okay, well, they're not going to want another WrestleMania 18 situation where you have this huge hyped up match between the two most over guys in the company, with Ambrose arguably being the most over face, Rollins being easily the most over heel, and then you have the actual main event go on after that, and the crowd's dead for it. I don't think they want
Right.
that to happen. So to me, the scary part there is they might intentionally slow these guys down and get them to hold back because of that.
And that'll tick me off so much because to me, these guys should be the main event without question. I've heard people say it everywhere that it already kind of ticks them off that Orton and Cena is going to be the main event of this show, and we hear you, because I'm right there with you. But it's just how business goes. These guys are the top dogs, and so of course they're
Here
going to
you
get
go,
the
John.
most
How about if
regard.
let's do this?
Yeah,
And this is just an idea. I'm throwing it out there. You can disagree. People can, say that it's a bad idea. If Rollins versus Ambrose happens, and it happens and then it ends, and Cena Orton hasn't happened yet, so we know for a fact that that's the main event, let's turn the pay per view off.
yeah. I mean, there you go. That sounds good to me.
Because to me, Cena Orton is a foregone conclusion. We don't even need to. I mean, I'm sure it'll be a solid match, but we don't even need to watch it to know what's going to happen. And if we turn the pay per view off after Rollins Ambrose, I think that sends a pretty clear message that that was our main event.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. To me, you can't be afraid to give guys like this the ball because the last time you gave a group of young guys when they were still together as the Shield the ball when CM Punk was injured and couldn't perform in a TLC match against Ryback, they tore the roof off the place and they set the arena on fire with how great they were. I'd love to see you give the best feud in WWE right now that same chance. And the idea that that probably won't happen and that you've even tried soft soaping it by saying, well, you're both the main event. This isn't a little league, okay? Not everybody gets a trophy just because they were a part of the team. There are guys that you clearly believe deserve that spot and guys that you know could easily take it, but you're not going to give them that opportunity because, I don't know, I guess of locker room hierarchy or whatever the case may be. This is our main event, is Rollins Ambrose. This has been the best program. These guys have done amazing stuff. The concluding promo with the Doll Rollins and Mick Foley make an appearance, that was all great. I'm ready for Ambrose to get his comeuppance, but now for the actual prediction, I'm sorry, Ashton, and you may even be leaning the same way. So I'm not even. I really don't even know why I'm saying I'm sorry, but I'm gonna say that Seth Rollins wins, and it makes no sense to me. And Ambrose should win here, but I just think Seth's gonna get the victory.
You know what, John? I'm going to say the same thing, exclusively because it will improve my viewing experience. Because if I pick Ambrose and he loses, I'm going to get double depressed. Because I'm going to be depressed about Ambrose losing, and I'm going to get depressed about me getting the wrong pick. Whereas if I pick Rollins, the fact that I got that pick wrong will not be able to override the ecstasy that I will be feeling from Ambrose getting this win. And
Right.
If Ambrose does lose, then at least I can say that I called it.
And really, if I had to provide a logical basis for my reasoning, think about it. We're already picking Cena to win the other Hell in a Cell match. So I could very easily see the story being, well, see, Randy, I know you don't want to acknowledge that I'm new to the face of WWE, but one of us actually won our Hell in a Cell match last
Right.
night.
Yeah.
And I could definitely see that being just the further divide between these two. So yeah, Rollins wins and Orton ends up just on the short end of the stick. And I like Rollins, so that part doesn't even really depress me so much again, even though it seems kind of illogical because if there was ever a time for Ambrose to get his comeuppance, it would be here. But just the idea again of how I see both of these things going, I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to say the least. So I guess it's out of our hands until then.
Indeed.
So anything else you want to say about this pay per view?
Man, no, I don't think I have anything else.
I don't either. So I guess with that said, that's been Hell in a Cell 2014 preview and predictions. So you can wrap us out and take us home, bro.
All right, guys. Well, you heard it here first. If John Cena versus Randy Orton ends up being the main event, we are going to black it out. Basically, we're gonna, as soon as the last match before that match is over, we're going to be turning the pay-per-view off. So if our live reactions is under, I'm going to say like 2 hours and 45 minutes, that's why.
There you go. You know our plan of attack. We're excited for you all to join us. I still can't wait for it, regardless of how the chips may fall. This should be a great show, and we'll see you for live reactions.
Absolutely. Live reactions tomorrow, and then we are back to the grind. Monday Night Raw, TwitWow the following night. We will see you guys for live reactions. And by the way, for live reactions, we're both going to be waking up at like 9:30 tomorrow morning because the Falcons are playing in London, and that's a thing. So hopefully we get some kind of nap in, but otherwise we're probably going to be yawning a bit during live reactions. It's not going to deplete our energy at all because it doesn't really matter how little sleep we got the night before. Our energy's always on point for these shows. But just if we're yawning a little bit more than usual tomorrow, it's not because we're bored. It's because we got very little sleep.
There you go.
So we will see you guys for live reactions.
Peace!